Hello, Blue Clink came in. Thank you, Blue, for your comment. Blue said, yeah, not a good couple. I didn't know that Katy Perry. Well, I guess she kissed the blackface guy and she liked it. And she kissed the girl and she liked it. I mean, Justin Trudeau kissed the girl and he liked it, so. Like, if anybody else did blackface, they would be arrested, they would be tasered, they would be strip searched, they would be put in prison, they would be ostracized, they would get fired from their job, right? Is anybody in here? If anyone else did blackface, what would happen? Because Roseanne Barr, remember Roseanne? She had her show. She didn't even do blackface. She just made a allegedly racist joke about a politician. Next thing you know, Roseanne's show was canceled. She was ostracized. So I guess are politicians immune from prosecution totally? Because if anyone else did blackface, we would be fired from our jobs, we would be ostracized, we would be arrested, tasered, people would spit on us. Like, if that's what would happen if anyone else did blackface. So it doesn't seem pretty fair that this guy, this douchebag, can get away with just anything. And blackface isn't even the worst thing he's done. He's done much worse than blackface. Like and the fact he lied about doing blackface. Justin Trudeau's a scumbag, so this is a funny move for Katy Perry because she was declining. I mean, they were making fun of her concert tours, and they made fun of that space thing that she did, the space stint. So this is another downhill move for Katy Perry, in my opinion. This is downhill for them. So. And in the picture, it looks like Katy Perry is blowing Justin Trudeau a kiss. So then at the bottom it says, "Would you date a guy who did blackface 3 times and lied about it to the media?" See, he's now trying to say that he didn't know that blackface was wrong. Then why did you lie about it when they asked you if you ever did it? He didn't know that the media had pictures of him doing blackface. So, in my opinion, it's the fact he lied about it, which is really bad. Like, because it's like it shows that he's a two-faced liar. So the fact that Justin Trudeau is such a two-faced liar, like he goes on stage and he's like, "Oh, everyone needs to be kind and sweet." And he's such a good guy and he talks like he's better than everyone and he speaks French. He's better than you because he speaks French and English and you only speak English. Like, this is the way this guy talks, Justin Trudeau. And then it turns out he's a two-faced liar. It'd be different if it was just some random person who, I don't know, like doesn't do politics, doesn't try to push politics on people, doesn't try to push their agenda on people. It would be different with just a random person who just did it and did it for a party. But this is a guy who's in politics, who's a lying sociopath. He's a lying sociopath. This guy, Justin Trudeau, is a sociopath. He's a lying sociopath. He is probably most definitely on the Epstein list, the Diddy list, all the lists. In fact, they saw him at a Taylor Swift concert. And this was on the news just a few months ago. Justin Trudeau went to that Taylor Swift concert. It was about 7 months ago. Justin Trudeau went to the Taylor Swift concert, and there was a girl who was like that. He's creepy. Like, even a 14-year-old girl at the Taylor Swift concert could pick up that Justin Trudeau was creepy. and she recorded him, and it was ended up on CTV News. Like, the guy's a creep. Justin Trudeau's a creep. He's a two-faced liar. He's a sociopath. Okay, it's the fact he lied about the blackface that proves that this guy is a sociopath and a liar. And if he lies about blackface, imagine what else he lies about. This is why everyone in Canada, half of Canada wants America to be the 51st state. Half of Canada, we want to be taken over by the United States. Half of Canada wants it because we have been abused for a long time. Canadians don't even have guns to defend ourselves. We're not allowed to have guns to defend ourselves, Canadians. So this is why this kind of BS, this sociopathic behavior, these liars, these politicians, these Canadian politicians who are total liars, they're sociopaths. They get away with doing screwed up stuff. Justin Trudeau, I would bet you he is not only on the Epstein list, but on the Diddy list as well. He's gone to Epstein Island. He's like, actually, they did say there was a news report that said that Justin Trudeau did go to Epstein Island, apparently. So this is why Canada, this is proof. Like, it's so hard these days to get proof when the politicians are such liars that they just cover everything up. They just delete everything. Justin Trudeau, when the media asked him, hey, did you ever do blackface? Justin Trudeau didn't know they had the photos. So he lied. Justin Trudeau denied it. Justin Trudeau totally denied it, like the sociopath liar that he is. Justin Trudeau denied it 3 times. The media asked Justin Trudeau 3 times, did you ever do blackface? And you know what Justin Trudeau said? Blackface? I would never do blackface. That is so racist. And then when they said, hey, Justin Trudeau, we got the photos of you doing blackface, then he's like, oh, yeah, I did blackface, but I didn't know it was racist. Wait a minute, Justin Trudeau, you just said that, no, you never did blackface because you know how racist blackface is. Oh, you would never do blackface. Then when the media coughed up the photos and said, hey, Justin Trudeau, we have the photos of you doing it, then Justin Trudeau said, oh, yeah, I remember now. Oh, yeah, I did it, but I didn't know it was racist. So this guy is a sociopath. Justin Trudeau is a sociopath liar. And there is more going on in the background that you Americans do not realize. We are suffering in Canada. This is an oppressive regime, okay? And in fact, one of the signs of an oppressive regime is when they go on the media and they say, oh, we're so nice. We're such nice people. Canadians, we're so nice. Canadians are so nice. That's BS. That's total BS. That's lies. People in Canada are murdered every day. In Canada, there was a whole bunch of drug dealers in Canada. All of these Canadians died from smoking fentanyl. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not a drug user. I'm telling you that Canada has been overtaken. We've been overtaken by immigrants. Canada has a lot of problems, a lot. And this is why half of Canada, at least half of Canada, wants the United States to take over Canada, wants the United States to make Canada the 51st state. This is why. Like, I've been beaten, I've been attacked. The Canadian police, they're like Nazis, communists. I don't know if they're Nazis or communists, but they're something, the Canadian police. They're liars, they're corrupt, like they're total liars. They pretend like they're good guys, and they're really evil. The Canadian police are extremely evil and corrupt. And is this not proof that they're liars? Look, the Prime Minister of Canada is a lying sociopath. If the Prime Minister of Canada was exposed as a lying sociopath, and this is just stuff we know he did. This is just stuff we managed to, like, it was probably so hard just to get the photos of him that did blackface. It was probably so hard to get those photos, okay? Imagine what Justin Trudeau was able to cover up. Like, Justin Trudeau did so much bad stuff that he totally forgot he did the blackface. He was busy covering up the other stuff he did. The stuff that was even worse. You know what I'm saying? Justin Trudeau was so busy covering up the other stuff he did that he forgot he did the blackface. And then, of course, they got him on the blackface. But Justin Trudeau did much worse than blackface. Much, much worse. The kind of people that do blackface, like they're screwed up people. Now, first off, I I'm very pro free speech. But what I'm telling you is when you have a politician who is a lying sociopath, who tries to push his agenda on everybody, who gets up on stage and pretends to be such a nice guy, and he tries to justify raising taxes and theft. Taxation is theft. He justifies his raising taxes and taking money from everyone. And then he says, oh, he's such a great guy and he's so kind. And then what's even more appalling, they have the audacity that is, if any average Canadian complains about the immigrants or does even blackface or something, they'll go to Canadian prison. Justin Trudeau would send the cops on an average, everyday, hardworking Canadian who's complaining about the immigrants. The Canadian would be called racist. The Canadian would be beat up. Of course, Justin Trudeau doesn't allow the immigrants, the African immigrants, the Indian immigrants to go to his rich French-Canadian neighborhood. God forbid. But is anyone calling Justin Trudeau a racist? Oh, so Justin Trudeau doesn't have to have the African immigrants in his rich French-Canadian neighborhood, but everyone else has to? And then if anyone complains about it, if any Canadian citizens complain about it, then we're called racist, we're beat up, we're attacked, we're put in Canadian prison. So that's what I have an issue with. I have an issue with the fact that the guy is a lying sociopath, which, like, the blackface is nothing compared to what he actually has done and covered up. Like, imagine if this is what we know, imagine what we don't even know that he covered up. Imagine the stuff he managed to cover up completely. So Justin Trudeau did some really sick stuff. And then explain to me how Justin Trudeau went around saying, oh, he would never resign. No, Justin Trudeau would be prime minister as long as he could. Then he has dinner with Trump. Justin Trudeau has dinner with Trump. And 2 months later, Justin Trudeau says he's going to resign. Around the same time that Trump says he's going to release the Epstein list. If this guy's not a weirdo freak, then they put Canadians in prison for less evidence, okay? They put Canadians in prison for saying the N-word. There was a Canadian who got cut off on the highway. He said the N-word. He flipped off the people and said the N-word and yelled it out the window. He was arrested for saying the N-word. But then we have the Prime Minister of Canada who does blackface 3 times and lies about it. How come the Prime Minister of Canada wasn't arrested? How come the Prime Minister of Canada wasn't strip searched and put in a prison cell and arrested and put in Canadian prison? Why not? And then he's the one bringing all the immigrants here. Justin Trudeau is the one who filled Canada with Indian immigrants, African immigrants, communist Chinese. So this guy is not only a liar, a sociopath, he's a total hypocrite. He destroyed Canada, and now he's just laughing, resigns, going and dating beautiful women. Well, I mean, I think Katy Perry's just a cover, to be honest. I think Katy Perry is like his beard, because Justin Trudeau, like we said, he was at the Taylor Swift concert many times, hanging around 14-year-old girls. Justin Trudeau apparently even used Canadian taxpayer money to pay hush money to a family. So Justin Trudeau, before he was Prime Minister of Canada, he was a drama teacher who taught drama. He was a drama teacher at a high school. And believe me, there was drama when Justin Trudeau was a drama teacher at a high school, because apparently Justin Trudeau, and I saw this video a few years ago, Justin Trudeau slept with a 14-year-old, and then the Justin Trudeau family, which is a very wealthy family, they bribed the parents, the family of the 14-year-old. Justin Trudeau was teaching drama class at a Canadian high school, and Justin Trudeau allegedly slept with a 14-year-old and then bribed bribed the Canadian family. So this guy, Justin Trudeau, is a lying sociopath, and he has done much worse, way worse than just only blackface. Who gives it? This person, someone came in and said, "Who cares? Who cares? This guy has stolen our Canadian taxpayer dollars. This guy has destroyed the Canadian economy with COVID, with those stupid COVID lockdowns. He forced people to wear a mask, which was very constrictive. And if people refused to wear the mask in public, I saw people get tasered. I saw a guy at Shoppers Drug Mart. I saw Shoppers is it's not a drug. Anyways, Shoppers Drug Mart is like a pharmacy place. Anyways, I saw a guy at Shoppers Drug Mart. Shoppers. I should say Shoppers, not Shoppers Drug Mart, because it sounds, when you say drug mart, it sounds. Anyways, it was a drugstore. It was like a pharmaceutical. Anyways, I saw a guy at Shoppers who refused to wear the mask. They called the cops, and he was tasered for not wearing the mask. Justin Trudeau destroyed the Canadian economy, put innocent Canadians in prison. In fact, a Canadian who speaks out against communist China will get more time in prison. So Justin Trudeau, it's a total communist country. And Justin Trudeau is definitely a freak. You probably saw, I did the other live streams that I showed that Justin Trudeau takes pictures with transvestites. Men that like to dress up like women. And the only thing crazier than women is men that like to dress up like women. Transvestites and drag queens. And Justin Trudeau, there's pictures all over Google Images. Justin Trudeau takes pictures at transvestite parades. Drag queen parades, transvestite parades, creepy men that like to dress up like women and use the little girl's bathroom. That's the reason why these creepy men like to dress up like women, so they could use the little girl's bathroom. That's why you see all of these transvestites in Canada, all of these men that dress up like women, you constantly seeing them using the little girl's bathroom. And I'm sure probably Justin Trudeau, when he went to the Taylor Swift concert, he also used the little girl's bathroom. Justin Trudeau was probably telling people, oh, he's prime minister. Oh yeah, he's the prime minister of Canada. Of course he can use whatever bathroom he wants. So, and then, of course, the Epstein list. Trump threatens to release the Epstein list. And Trump, around the same time, has dinner with Justin Trudeau. And then 3 months later, Justin Trudeau says he's going to resign. Isn't that weird timing? Also, Trump and Candace Owens, they exposed the French president's wife of being a man. And they exposed that sick, gross relationship. Which, by the way, France and Canada have always been allies. France and Canada are tight. Like, why do you think we both speak French and English and have all this French stuff? There's been a war going on for years between the French and the English. The French and the English do not get along. It's not just the language barrier. They talk like they're better than us. Like the English Canadians that have jobs and we are hardworking and we're blue collar. The English Canadians, we're blue collar, hardworking Canadians. We're treated like garbage by the rich French Canadian elite. They speak French and live in $1 million homes, and they speak French, and then they laugh at poor Americans that live in trailer parks. Have you even just watched Justin Trudeau's speeches? If you watch Justin Trudeau's speeches, he is the most pretentious, arrogant person you will ever see. Like, you will want to throw up. You will want to throw up watching Justin Trudeau give his speeches. He's like, oh, I am the leader of Canada, and oh, Canada's such a great country, and it's better than your country, and we're so great, and we speak French, and now all that crap I said in English, I'm going to say it in French now, and I'm better than you, and this is why I make millions of dollars a year, and I'm French, and French people were so much better. And then we're gonna raise taxes on the hardworking Canadians. We're gonna raise taxes on the hardworking Canadians, and then the French Canadians, they embezzle the Canadian taxpayer money. That's how they became rich. That's how the rich elites. That's how the rich elite Canadians, the French Canadian rich elites. That's how they became rich, by embezzling Canadian taxpayer money. They're stealing money. They're stealing our tax dollars. So someone come in and says, "Who cares?" That we care. Because these evil, rich French Canadian elites, they're stealing our Canadian tax dollars. And then they act as if they're better than us and they speak French. We have always, yeah. So someone came in and said, truth be told, and he said, not quite true about English speaking Canadians. We have always had a war with the French. Explain to me then, how come we had a referendum? If French Canadians and English Canadians are so in tune with each other and we're all at peace, then how come in the 1980s, 90s, Quebec wanted to leave Canada? There was a referendum and it almost happened. It was a 50-50 vote. It was close. Quebec, the entire province of Quebec, had a vote, a referendum. Half of Quebec, it was 50-50 vote. Half of Quebec wanted to just separate from Canada and leave Canada because they didn't like the English Canadians. They didn't like the English Canadian politics. They didn't want to work with English Canadians no more. So someone wants to come in and say, oh, yeah, no, we didn't. No, we're tight. We're cool with the French Canadians. They just want to leave Canada altogether. And it almost happened in a referendum, which is very public. And even Justin Trudeau, when he was 18, 19, whatever, around the time, Justin Trudeau commented on the referendum. So it almost happened. Quebec almost separated from Canada because that is how much animosity there is between the French Canadians and the English Canadians. I mean, he resigned because everyone hates his guts, right? That's the reason Justin Trudeau resigned. And then what happened? He just replaces himself with who? His like best friend, his like this. It's from this a guy from the same Liberal Party. Justin Trudeau's like, hey guys, I know you're all upset that Justin Trudeau destroyed the Canadian economy, and he put all innocent people in prison, and he destroyed the economy through COVID, and he abused Canadian civil rights. But now, don't worry, everyone. Justin Trudeau is going to resign, and he's going to replace himself with Mark Carney, another Liberal nut job from the same Liberal Party. It's like Justin Trudeau is replacing himself with himself. Hey everyone, you don't have to protest and overthrow the Canadian government anymore because now Justin Trudeau, the Liberal douchebag, the biggest lying sociopath who did blackface and lied about it and did much worse than blackface, trust me. The lying sociopath Justin Trudeau, guess what, Canadians? He's gonna resign and go retire on an island now. So you don't have to overthrow the government anymore. And guess what, Canadians? Now Justin Trudeau is going to replace himself, Liberal douchebag, with another Liberal douchebag from the same Liberal Party. It's as if Canada is a whole new country now. It's as if Canada is a whole new country. We replaced one Liberal douchebag with another Liberal douchebag from the same Liberal Party. So there you go. Yeah, it was corrupt because someone came in, Amir. Amir came in and he said he didn't replace himself. Carney was selected through a democratic voting process by the Canadian people. That was a corrupt democratic voting process. Okay? If you think American elections are fixed, oh, Canadian elections are totally fixed. Canadian elections. Explain to me how Justin Trudeau, he promises to, okay, he does blackface, and then he gets reelected. So this was the blackface scandal was right before reelection. They did it on purpose. Right before the reelection of Justin Trudeau, the blackface scandal came out of Justin Trudeau, and I'm like, oh God, I mean, if they put Canadians in prison for saying the N-word, if they call Canadians, say you're racist, and put Canadians in prison for saying the N-word, clearly the blackface scandal is going to destroy Justin Trudeau's political chance of being reelected. Then he was reelected. And it looked like he even got even more votes. So Justin Trudeau, isn't that a bit suspicious? Like, hey, maybe the votes in Canada, maybe the elections are fixed in Canada. Then, after Justin Trudeau destroys Canada altogether and is like the most hated prime minister in all of Canada, then you would think that would be that would hurt the Liberal Party. You would think that the party he's from, Justin Trudeau, would totally vanish after that. Because Canada is blaming the Liberals and Justin Trudeau for destroying Canada. You would think that then the Liberal Party would be finished, but then the Liberal Party wins again. So you're trying to tell me that the vote, that's not fixed? If any, like the Americans are constantly accusing the American elections of being fixed. I think Canadian elections are being fixed, if you want to ask me. Justin Trudeau is a two-faced liar. He pretends to be the nicest guy in the world, and it's a front. It's a lie. He's a deceiver. Justin Trudeau is a deceiver. He is a lying sociopath. He pretends like he's the nicest guy in the world. He's not. He has had people murdered. Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau has had people murdered. And the fact that Justin Trudeau did blackface, what kind of people you think Justin Trudeau had murdered? So Justin Trudeau is not this nice guy. He goes on stage and pretends like, oh, Canada is such a sweet country, innocent country. Everyone has freedom of speech. Everyone has human rights. No, that's not true. That is not true. And then we expose Canada that they're lying, a bunch of lying sociopaths. And then sure enough, no one is like, oh, like we just caught this guy in one of the biggest lies and of Canada, you know. He literally flat out, he told the media 3 times, oh, he would never do blackface. It's racist. Justin Trudeau said he would never do blackface because he knows how racist it is. And then the media said, hey, Justin Trudeau, well, we got the photos of you doing blackface. And then Justin Trudeau said, oh, well, oh yeah, I did blackface, but I didn't know it was racist. You just said, Justin Trudeau, you just said before you knew that they had the photos, you said, oh, you would never do blackface because you know how racist blackface is. Justin Trudeau is the nicest guy who like has rainbows coming out of his ears. Justin Trudeau would never do blackface because Justin Trudeau knows how racist that is. And then the media says, hey, Justin Trudeau, well, we got the photos of you doing blackface, so you clearly lied about it. And then Justin Trudeau's like, oh, now he remembers. He did blackface, but he didn't know it was racist. You just said, Justin Trudeau, that you would never do blackface because you know how racist it was. And then on top of it, it's like, are you telling me that like a 30-something-year-old politician in politics and Canadian politics doesn't know blackface is racist? That's another lie. That's another lie. Everyone knows blackface is racist. Everyone. Everyone, like everyone, if you don't know that blackface is racist, like you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You belong in a mental ward. If you don't like, if anyone belongs in a mental ward, it's someone who would turn around and say that they didn't know blackface was racist. What? What are you smoking? Everyone in the world knows that that's racist. That's like one of the most racist things you could do. Which is another lie. What a lying sociopath. To lie and say that, oh, because he didn't know they had the photos, to say, oh, he never did blackface, he would never do it because he knows how racist it is. Then they say, oh, by the way, Justin Trudeau, we got the photos. Then he says, oh, yeah, he remembers now he did it, but he didn't know it was racist. What? A 30-year-old politician in Canadian politics, a Canadian politician in Canadian politics doesn't know that blackface is racist? You need your head examined. You need that now that's someone who needs a psychiatric evaluation. Justin Trudeau is a lying sociopath. The fact that he's a lying sociopath, I'm telling you, he's done much worse than blackface. Much worse. Okay, Justin Trudeau has had people murdered. He's had people disappear. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if after, Trump threatened to make Canada the 51st state. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump is the reason, or I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Trudeau is the reason California was on fire. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Trudeau was behind the California wildfires because it happened around the same time. Trump has dinner with Justin Trudeau. The next thing you know, Trump has dinner with Justin Trudeau. Then Trump threatens to release the Epstein list. The next thing you know, Justin Trudeau resigns. And Trump says he wants to take over Canada and make Canada the 51st state. Next thing you know, California's on fire. Explain that one. Is that a coincidence? If that's a coincidence, that's a pretty big coincidence. It literally happened within months apart. Justin Trudeau and Donald Trump had dinner. This was a big photo op. They had dinner together. This was a big photo op. Trump threat says he's going to release the Epstein list. Next thing you know, Justin Trudeau resigns as Canadian Prime Minister, which was shocking because we thought that that douchebag said, "Oh, he would never resign. Oh, he would be Prime Minister as long as he could." Then he resigns. Then Trump says he wants to make Canada the 51st state and threatens to take over Canada. Then the next thing you know, California's on fire. Like these events happened within months apart. So if that's a coincidence, that's a pretty big coincidence. And then the other thing too, really mysterious. And I left a comment on Candace Owens' page. I asked her, and I asked another guy, because they're better at that. I'm not an investigative journalist. I'm more better with common sense and logic, anyways. But I told them, I said, you know what they should do? There was a case where Justin Trudeau, when he was younger, his brother, Justin Trudeau's brother, died in a very mysterious avalanche. They never found Justin Trudeau's brother's body. The brother of Justin Trudeau, they never found his body. He died in a mysterious avalanche, and they never found Justin Trudeau's brother's body, the brother of Justin Trudeau. They never found his body. He died in a mysterious avalanche. And you should have seen how Justin Trudeau responded to the death of his brother. Like, he had this weird smirk and smile on his face. Like, I swear, like, Justin Trudeau is a lying sociopath. And then who knows, there's a whole thing about him being Fidel Castro's son. That could be true. That could very well be true. And they even showed a picture of Justin Trudeau's face next to Fidel Castro's face. They do look similar. And Justin Trudeau doesn't really look like his father, Pierre Trudeau. So, and then a lot of people even said that Margaret Trudeau, the mother, apparently she did meet the Fidel Castro many times. So, Canada is always up to evil stuff. Canada does a lot of stuff behind America's back. I mean, Canada lied about the blackface. What else are they lying about? Canada pretends to be so nice, such an innocent country. Canada is the strictest on gun control, but gun control doesn't stop Canadian criminals from getting guns. It doesn't. And there's robberies in Canada constantly. Constantly in Canada, businesses are getting robbed. There was a jeweler in Toronto just a few months ago, and of course, the Canadian police are useless. The Canadian police do not allow Canadians to have guns to defend themselves. And then, when you actually need the Canadian police to do something, they're useless. And there was a jewelry store in Toronto, it's on YouTube, and it completely got robbed. And even the mall security was useless too. So Canada, they will not allow Canadians to have guns to defend themselves. And if we're up to the Canadian government, they're pushing gun control campaigns on Americans. The Canadian government is constantly pushing gun control campaigns to try to convince Americans to give up their guns. Constantly. The Canadian government, if the Canadian government could, they would take guns away from all Americans. In fact, if you called the Canadian police and you asked the Canadian police, hey, Canadian police, what would happen if a bunch of gun-loving Texans from Texas, what would happen if a bunch of gun-loving Texans from Texas came from Texas and went to Canada? What would happen? What would you do, Canadian police? You know what they would say? And I asked them. I called the Canadian police. I asked them. I said, what would happen, hypothetically speaking, if a bunch of gun-loving Texans from Texas went to Canada with their guns, right? What would you do? The Canadian police said they would send 20 police cars at least, and they would take the guns away from the Texans, from the American Texans from Texas. Oh, wow, that would be interesting to see. That would be interesting to see a Canadian police try to take guns away from American Texans from Texas. So Canada is like, they're corrupt. Canada is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. They say that if you ask them, yeah, call them Amir. Amir, if you ask them, if you say, hey, what would happen, hypothetically speaking, what would happen if a bunch of Texans from Texas went to Canada with their guns, with a gun-loving Texans from Texas? What would happen if they went to Canada with their guns? I'm telling the Canadian police, they told me, they said they would send Canadian police cars to take the guns away from the Texans. Imagine seeing Canadian police trying to take guns away from Texans from Texas. Oh, that would be a bloodbath. That would be like the biggest gunfight, the biggest gun showdown. Forget all those Western movies, you know, those Wild Wild West. Forget all those Wild Wild West movies. You want to see a real gun down showdown? To see the Canadian police trying to take guns away from Texans from Texas. That would be a real Wild Wild West gun showdown right there. And then Canada says that America and Canada are allies. How are we allies? We don't allow guns. We have the strictest gun control. We don't allow freedom of speech. The Canadian Prime Minister is a lying sociopath. The government of Canada is a bunch of lying sociopaths. They don't allow freedom of speech. They don't allow gun rights. How is Canada and America allies? We have nothing in common other than the fact we both speak English. Canada has more in common with communist China. Canada practically is communist China. So if anyone's an ally of Canada, it's communist China. The reason the Canadian government doesn't allow Canadians to have guns to defend themselves, just think about it logically. And you almost answer your own question when you ask yourself this. Why would the government of Canada not allow the citizens of Canada, Canadian citizens, to have guns to defend themselves? Why? Why? Why would a government of Canada not allow their people to defend themselves? Any government that would not allow their own people to defend themselves, you answered your question right there. This is the whole point of the Second Amendment. This was the purpose of the American Second Amendment, is so that American citizens could defend themselves against a corrupt government. Well, guess what? Canada is that corrupt, tyrannical government. Canada is that corrupt, tyrannical government. And the corrupt, tyrannical government known as Canada will not allow Canadians to defend themselves. Any country that would not allow their own citizens to have guns to defend themselves, that's a corrupt country. And Canada is extremely corrupt. The reason that the Canadian government also doesn't want to allow Canadians to have guns to defend themselves is so that when Justin Trudeau, and there's pictures of Justin Trudeau with transvestites, and the only thing crazier than women is men that like to dress up like women. Drag queens and transvestites. The reason that the Canadian government doesn't want Americans or Canadians to have guns to defend themselves is so that the next time Justin Trudeau goes with his transvestite brothers and sisters, his transvestite parade, the next time Justin Trudeau, that's another reason why the government of Canada doesn't allow Canadians to be able to defend themselves with guns, because then the next thing you know, the women, there'd be less rapes, there'd be less, Justin Trudeau, and he hangs out with transvestites. There's pictures of him. It's on Google Images. If you just Google search Prime Minister Justin Trudeau transvestite parade, drag queen parade, And the only thing crazier than women is men that like to dress up like women. That's pretty crazy, creepy. Men that like to dress up like women. Men that like to wear panties. Men that like to wear bras. Men that like to wear dresses. Men that like to wear makeup and long hair. That's creepy. The only thing creepier than women, the only thing crazier than women is men that like to dress up like women. And Justin Trudeau, there's pictures of him all over Google Images. The Prime Minister of Canada takes pictures with transvestites. And those Canadian transvestites are school teachers. They have transvestite school teachers. Why do transvestites, men that like to dress up like women, drag queens, why do transvestites and drag queens in Canada want to be school teachers so badly? Justin Trudeau takes pictures with transvestite school teachers. That's why the government of Canada doesn't want Canadians to have guns to defend themselves. Because then there wouldn't be no Epstein list. There wouldn't be no, if those victims and the Epstein list, if the victims and the Diddy list and the Epstein list, if the victims had guns to defend themselves, then they would defend themselves and they would not get molested by these creeps, by these transvestite weirdo creeps. Transvestite school teachers, transvestite Canadian school teachers. There's a lot of victims in Canada. A lot of people are afraid to talk. This is why so many Canadians have said that Canada doesn't have free speech. Because people who speak up, people who present real evidence, that evidence goes missing, the people go missing, witnesses go missing, and the Canadian government has created fear. Most Canadians are afraid. Many Canadians are victims. There's a lot of Canadians that are victims. And they say nothing because they're afraid. They're afraid they're going to lose their job. They're afraid they're going to lose their families. They're afraid they're going to be homeless. Most Canadians, actually, there are a lot more victims, but we don't hear from these victims because they are afraid. They are afraid of the Nazi communist Canadian government. They are afraid of the Canadian government regime, the lying sociopaths who do blackface 3 times and lie about it. The Canadian government, the Canadian people are afraid of the Canadian government. There's a lot more Canadian victims. There's a lot of Canadian victims, and we simply don't hear from them because they're too afraid to say something. Because they're afraid if they speak out against the Canadian government for what was done to them, they're afraid they're going to lose their job. They're afraid they're going to be ostracized from the community. They're afraid that they'll become homeless. Canadians are suffering. We are suffering up here. There's a lot of Canadian victims. They do evil, screwed up stuff to Canadians. Evil stuff. There's Canadians that are in therapy for life. And then what happens? They call them crazy. They call, those Canadians are crazy. No, those Canadians, there's a reason they're in therapy. There's a reason they have to see a psychologist because screwed up stuff was done to them. And I wouldn't be surprised if those victims on the Epstein list, I wouldn't be surprised if the victims of the Epstein Island, I wouldn't be surprised if the victims, if they had to see psychologists too. Because it's pretty screwed up. When there's transvestite school teachers, when there's, that's actually traumatic enough, actually. Imagine going to school and your teacher's a transvestite, a drag queen. Imagine going to school in Canada and your teacher is a weirdo, a man that likes to dress up like women. Imagine going to Canada, imagine going to school in Canada and your teacher is a creepy weirdo man that likes to dress up like women. That would be traumatic enough. Let alone, we don't even know what, imagine what these transvestites are doing to the kids in school as well. Like, what are they doing to the kids, the transvestites? But imagine just enough. It's enough to just go to school and to see a transvestite school teacher, and that would be traumatic. That would be creepy and weird and traumatic. Imagine learning mathematics. It's hard enough as it is to be in mathematics class or English class or science class or history. School is hard enough as it is, and then your teacher, the Canadian school teacher, is some transvestite creep weirdo who God knows what he's doing with the kids. And it's not just men either. It's also women. There's a lot of Canadian women that are screwed up in the head. Look at Carla Homolka. Carla Homolka, famous Canadian serial killer who actually murdered her own sister. And people are now coming out and saying that Carla Homolka was the mastermind behind the Carla Homolka Paul Bernardo murders. Carla Homolka, Carla Homolka was the mastermind behind the Carla Homolka Paul Bernardo murders. And she was sicker than he was, and she only did 12 years in prison. Carla Homolka was released. And after Carla Homolka was released, just a few years later, they saw her volunteering at a school. There was a news article that says that Carla Homolka was seen volunteering at a school. A convicted murderer who murdered her own sister and preyed on young women and murdered other young women. Carla Homolka was seen volunteering at a school. That is screwed up.